Hey you, yes you, see all these wonderful people right here? They are my Patreons. With the support I get from them, I can afford to do my passion as a career and bring you guys weekly videos. Want to join them? For just $1 a month, you can get videos 24 hours before anyone else. And for even higher tiers, you can get Polaroids, letters, and mystery boxes from me to you. And even Fursuit parts, not to mention my eternal thanks. So what are you waiting for? Become a Patreon today via the link in the description. Thanks again, enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome back to the final part of this tutorial series. Let's go over what we will need for our final steps of this suit. For materials, you will need some black fleece, some minky the colour of your tongue, some stiffened felt, some long fur for the hair, and some polyester stuffing. For our tools, we will need our clippers. I'm using a 7-blade for this, our glue gun and sticks, our sewing machine and thread, tailor's chalk or a paint pen, a slicker brush, some sharp sewing scissors, and a curved sewing needle. Alright, so we're starting off with the shave on this head. I put on my respirator and get to work. This will be a very slow process. When you shave, your goal isn't to get all the fur the same length. It's to use this final shave process to get your suit looking as clean and smooth as possible. By doing it like this, you will be able to hide some of the imperfections in your base. Now, you don't need to press that hard at all. My blades usually just skim the surface unless I need to take off a little more or a little bit less in one area. Brushing out the shave every now and again can help you see where needs more attention and give it an overall clean look. It's worth mentioning that not all furs shave the same way, even will differ from batch to batch, and some furs will not behave for you. The key is to just get it as good as you are able to do. I use the back of the clipper blades here to take off teeny tiny amounts of pile. I can't take credit for this technique. I saw SkyPro doing it in a live stream and have been doing it myself ever since. And I mainly use this technique for cleaning and removing any blade marks. I use scissors to trim around the eyes, ready for our eye outlines. We take our template we used for the iframes and trace around the inside onto our stiffened felt. I cut out the outline with a bit of a border and check the fit on the head. We want this to align nicely with our eyes. I thin the border on the eye outline to my desired thickness. I tend to make the bottom side the thinnest to get the eye a bit more dimension. Now we work on gluing them onto our eyes. I work in sections here and make sure they are sitting where they are supposed to as it dries. Just be careful and take your time, and you don't need to use too much glue, just enough so that it stays there and the glue doesn't ooze out. I spend some time trimming around the eyes to make sure no fur is pushing over the eye outlines. And I trim around the eyebrows to make the markings more crisp. And more cleaning up of the shave. I go over it again and again, just cleaning up any tiny areas that I see that need a bit of tidying. If you feel stuck in your shave and you feel like it's not getting any better no matter what you do, I recommend finishing up some of the other areas like the mouth and the eyes, and when it looks more complete, you'll be able to spot imperfections easier and it will generally look a lot better. I clean up the edges of the mouth fur with scissors as I want this to be a very hard edge. I go around brushing things out and fixing any imperfections that immediately stand out to me. Excuse my hair being an absolute mess. I work as soon as I get up and must have forgot to give it a brush before I got out of bed. I cut a strip of fleece to edge our mouth with and apply glue down one edge and fold about a third of it over onto that line of glue. I then apply a line of glue down the remainder of the fabric and fold it over onto the other folded section, creating like a little tube. I work on gluing this tube of fleece around our lower jaw. This will form a lip. I trim it to size so it runs all the way around and hides the ends in the very corners of the mouth. Now we make his tongue. Grab your minky and get to work. I fold a section in half and place it in the mouth to get an idea of the width and length I'd like for my tongue, and then freehand the shape. I sew around the edge, leaving the base of the tongue open. I trim the excess fabric and turn it inside out, and then I top stitch a line down the middle for the classic tongue look. I grab a coin to weigh down the end of the tongue and slip it down the sides to the end of the tongue and stitch over the top of the base to keep the coin in place. I start on the hair by drawing a teardrop shape in my fur, cutting it out and pinning the curved edges together. Sew it in half, leaving a section of the thicker part open to turn inside out. I give it a brush and put a little polyfill in the hair poof and top stitch the back closed with the raw edges of the fur rolled into the poof. I sew this the opposite way to the top seam, so that the seam on our hair poof is in the center middle of this back seam. I shave the bottom of the hair poof for ease of attaching and apply glue to the bottom and press into place on the head, as well as the tongue. I sew a label onto our neckliner and begin pinning the lining to the neck fur. fold the edge of the fabric over about 1 centimeter before pinning it. I now straight stitch over the top of the edge of my pinned fabric. This can be a bit fiddly with the entire head attached to it, but just rotate the main head so it can go through your machine a bit easier. Just take your time. I then brush out all the fur from the seam we just sewed. And now we attach the hairproof properly to the head with a ladder stitch around the edges. I notice an area where I shaved too close to the backing and it's visible, so I grab some thread and use a Muppet stitch like we did in the previous episode to close up that gap by running the stitches either side of the bald spot and pulling closed. And yes, even more shave cleanup. Now it's all just cleaning him up and giving him a bit of a style to get him looking nice for the grand reveal. And look at this dude. Look at this dude. I'm very happy with how this guy came out, and I'm so glad I got to share this process with you. I'll still be doing one Q&A video from questions left on this video, so be sure to comment any questions you may have about the process I showed you today. I also have a bodysuit tutorial filmed for this same character ready to go for you sometime early next year, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.